pretty good one, but also probably this is a good one. Oh shit, this one has a knife, what the? What you're seeing right now is a knife-wielding mushroom chasing me. But to know how I got myself into this situation, we have to go back quite a bit. Not that long time ago, I had a brilliant idea to make a game in just 3 days. From all the possible themes and game ideas I could make, I decided to create a game about mushroom picking. Why would I pick that? I could have made something more engaging and interesting, right? That's true, but I knew that a good video game is not defined by the big idea behind it, but by great gameplay execution. And despite the odds, I managed to create a really fun and satisfying horror game about cutting and eating mushrooms. But there was a big problem. It seemed like something in my game was missing. Sure, you could collect as many mushrooms as you wanted, but why even bother collecting them at all? Why do I need so many of these, you might ask yourself? And I don't know. To answer this, I needed to work on the main goal. What sort of goal I could make for my game? I sat down and started thinking about it for some time until I realized something completely amazing. That I've made a game about mushroom picking, so I could pretty much put anything in the game and it will work. With this magical mindset, I decided to give the player a goal consisting of 2 steps. The first one is an amount requirement that is a bit more interesting than just getting 7 mushrooms and calling it a day. And of course, that requirement is to collect 3 mushrooms and cook up a pot of mushroom stew. Throughout the map, I scattered a couple of campfire spots, which have a chance to have a cooking pot on them. Once you find the cooking pot, you need to bring 3 mushrooms to cook up a mushroom stew. Once you cook up 3 pots of mushroom stew, you will unlock the second and final part of the game's progression. And of course that is to find a massive door hidden somewhere on the map and see the secrets lying behind it. It might seem super random, because it is, but I did it because it was funny. Now with a clear goal, the player knows that there is something to work for. But the work that is required seems a bit too difficult because of one major factor. How do we get to the campfires? With the cooking pot locations being random, you can pretty much prepare for a 10-hour walking simulator experience. At least you'll have some pretty grass along the way, it looks so cool and nice. But watching grass grow is a game that already exists, so we gotta do something to fix the "oh where is the fucking stew" problem. I considered a couple of ways to solve this issue. One of them was a map, but I didn't like the idea. The entire game focuses on fast and snappy feel, and the map would just slow things down. That's why I decided to go with a compass instead. It's much simpler and a nicer way to show the player where the closest campfire is, and also it's much faster to pull one out and check out where you need to go. Having both the campfires, pots, and a way to find them solves the main goal problem. But still, we have a long walking simulator as the game, and it's just too simple. Therefore, it's time to work on the enemies. Currently, there is one enemy in the game. I've explained how he works in the previous video, but if you haven't seen it, let me give you a brief explanation. The Mushroom Man, as I like to call him, is a creature that lurks in the darkness of the forest surrounding you. He has 3 main types of behavior. Stalking, which consists mostly of him following the player. The second one is him staring at the player from afar, and finally, he has an ambush attack, which is the most dangerous one. Knowing this, what can we do to make the game more difficult? One way would be to make the Mushroom Man a bigger threat, which is something I did by making his attacks happen more often, but still, the most effective way would be to add a new type of threat that would force the player to split his focus. So of course, I decided to equip mushrooms with knives and let them chase the player in the chance of stabbing them. And that's how we got that fella in the game called Stabby. He's a really cutie, isn't he? The best part is that any mushroom can be changed into one, so you'll never know if a mushroom is a knife-wielding maniac or just a tasty stew ingredient. I also decided to reward the player for defeating the Stabby in a battle by making him drop an edible mushroom. It's very nice. This one has a knife again. And this one is a bit slower. Has a weird temp. You freaking stabbed me. Whoa. Just like that, we have 2 types of threat that the player needs to constantly be wary of, which makes the game just a bit more difficult and a lot more enjoyable. The last thing to do before calling the game finished was to make the map more interesting by adding more locations and also introducing some lore here and there and here and in a bunch of other places. In short, there are lots of different locations and lore related things for you to check out. And that's it. The game is done. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. If you want to play the game yourself, then check out Mushroom Doom on itch.io. I would put a link in the description if I could, but I can't. So that's everything from me. See you soon.